That's
You guys,
funny.
let's rock and roll. I think we've got everyone that's going to be here. Mara, you're in the house as well.
Sweet.
And Melissa,
Yes.
let's do it. Yeah, so Tara's going to lead this one, you guys. I just wanted to jump on, say hello, and
Thank you.
listen to Tara as she goes through this presentation. I'm sitting here with you looking to pick something up valuable as well. So,
Yeah, this is the
Tara, take
first
it
time
away.
he's seen it. Yeah. Awesome. Y'all can see my screen, correct? Yep, cool.
Yep.
Okay, so today we are going to be talking about how to grab attention, how to keep attention, and then how to leverage the attention going forward using video. And this is going to be across social media. It can be through your email messages, through just your constant contact with your clients and database. So, really looking forward to diving into this. This is going to be one of the first times we've presented with this presentation. So super stoked to get it out to you and really would love to have your feedback on it. As we go through, please ask questions and we'll just go with the flow. Does that sound good? Cool. Awesome. So I don't really think we need a whole lot of introduction here, but as Aaron and I both work very closely together doing this marketing technology role to help other agents and real estate professionals level up their businesses using all kinds of different technology tools and AI. If you want to, I did throw up a link to our ongoing monthly webinars that we have. This month, we are talking about what's new with all things ChatGPT and AI. So would love to have you on the call. It is going to be an hour and it's next Tuesday at 1 p.m. And just a reintroduction to me, I'm Tara. I've been in the biz since 2002, Arizona licensed broker and a real estate agent. I'm also an R certified technology trainer and Google certified marketer. So with that, if you'd like to connect with me, you can. That's my QR code. But I'll just go ahead and cruise right through. So again, what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about how to grab attention. And that is really, how do you stand out in this sea of sameness that you find yourselves as real estate agents? Because it's hard, right? We all sell the same thing. We're all after clients. And how do you stand out? How do you make yourself unique? And we're going to talk about ways to do that. And then how do we keep that attention once we have it? So this is going to be getting into like different uses of video, when certain types of video would be appropriate, and then finally how to leverage it, where you can optimize in order to maintain some of these relationships, and how you can utilize videos going forward. Sound good? Awesome. But first, we're going to take a little bit of a step back, and I want to revisit some basics with regards to marketing. Primarily, is just also a reminder that you are your own unique person, and it's really important that you tap into that. And I know it's super easy to get caught up in what everybody else is doing, but you're going to go the furthest if you stay right outside the pool of everyone else swimming. So we are going to talk about defining your audience, knowing who it is you're really talking to in all of your content. And we're going to talk about a little bit of a different strategy that you might be able to implement, utilizing some video and how you can repurpose that video into multiple pieces of content. The starting point for all innovation is asking what the problems are within your industry. When you find those pain points, you find your opportunity zones to really create content. I love this quote because it really talks about knowing who it is you're talking to and defining your audience. Have you guys gone through the process of really defining who you want your ideal client to be and what they look like, what kind of things they enjoy doing, what they want to accomplish, what fears they have? Any of these? If you haven't done this, it's super important because it will help you define what it is you're going to talk about. When you can clearly articulate problems of somebody else's that they didn't even know they had, they're going to notice you and they're probably going to follow you and connect with you down the road. So be a problem solver. Okay. Any questions on? Okay, cool. The person who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. And the person who walks alone is likely to find himself in places no one has ever been before. So we talked about swimming outside that kind of the swimming pool, the sea of fish. I love a little Einstein. He's a little cutie. But I also mentioned when we talk about it's really easy to get caught up in what everybody else is doing, especially as it pertains to video and content that you see online. There's trends, there's things that you see and you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. Okay, maybe I should like hop on this train. The problem with that is it makes it really easy for you to see something shiny and get derailed. And so my proposal to you is think about content that you create in video, just like you would in your marketing strategy as you move through your year. So if you know that, for example, April is tax season, and there are a lot of different things that you could talk about as it pertains to real estate and taxes and ways you can leverage investments and all kinds of different things like that, you can theme out your content by month based on what's happening and what you're into and what's going on in the market. Okay. So my proposal here for you is just to think about it in this term. So you have your annual plan and then it boils down to your monthly plan. Every month you have at least market updates that you can do, right? And that leaves room for 3 other weeks that you can come up with content. If you just think up 4 things, including that market statistic report or market statistic piece of content, then you can then repurpose that into 3 other pieces of content, giving you a total of 12 pieces of content for you to put out. That's 3 things every week. And when I'm talking about this, so you want to think of the content that you create in terms of the real estate or in terms of a marketing funnel. Are you guys all familiar with the marketing funnel and what those look like? Okay. So we have the top of the funnel, which is typically like your awareness stage. This is everything that you're doing to get your name out there, let people know what it is you're doing, and you have to be gentle. If somebody were to market to you and ask you, hey, pick up the phone and call me after I said this, and this is the first time you've ever seen anything from that person, what are you likely to do? Are you going to pick up the phone and call them? Probably not, right? So a gentle call to action or invite into your world is really the most appropriate type of content for this type of initial post. So when we talked about, so you have 4 pieces of content. One of them is going to be an awareness post, right? That is going to be something that you use to grab attention. A lot of times you're going to see that in the viral content that you tend to see out there. Those are like the short reels that grab attention. They're super short. They might indicate some kind of problem and that they have a solution. And you might read it like a caption that has some information in it. But the point of it is it just grabs people's attention. It states a problem, offers a solution, and then you can decide. Normally what happens is that the viewer will go to the profile and look to see, do I want to follow this person? Is this person like have the content that they say they do on their profile? So that's what that awareness post would be. The second post, same content, but a different style of video would be something that is a little bit more informative. And this is where you're really nurturing somebody. You're providing a bit more context and you're giving them your expertise. You're showing them you really know what it is you're talking about. And a lot of times this is going to be done in more of a talking head style video. And this is where you elaborate on that initial problem that you mentioned or brought awareness to. And then the third post would be something that would inspire them to take action. And this is where you can really do, you can be a little bit more to the point with your call to action. The call to action in the previous one I just mentioned, the informative one, would be something like, save this post for later, save this content for later, follow me for more information if you like what I have to say here. And then the third type would be a little bit more to the point. This is where you're inspiring them to actually take action. Like you're showing them proof. I've dealt with this before. You want to work with me because I can solve this problem for you. And that's where you can say, follow me, connect with me. Or another option could be like, if you have some kind of lead magnet, you can link it to your bio, or you can use something like ManyChat to deliver it automatically. Are you guys tracking what I'm talking about here? Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. So grabbing attention. We're moving on to what is encompassed in a really good video, short form video. So a hook it can be verbal, it can be nonverbal, I meaning like visual hook. So maybe there's some movement into the clip or the frame, and it can also be spoken or it can be music. So these different things can all add to the composition, grab somebody's attention. Have you ever spent any time watching somebody scroll their phone and see how fast they do it? You have 1 second to get attention so that somebody stops to actually see what it is you're saying or have to say. So getting to the point in your video content is super important. There's none of that, hi, my name is, or hey, awkward pause. Like you have to be to the point and say and grab somebody's attention in the first 2 to 3 seconds. Okay. And Erin, if you have anything to add, feel free. I know you're just listening, but again, talking about hooks. So we mentioned like visual, verbal, but they can also be in the context. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do a hook, right? You can also identify who it is you're talking to. So in your case, you might be like, homeowners, do you struggle with this? X, Y, and Z. Or stop doing this if you're doing something that shouldn't be, you don't want people to do, or is that it's a mistake. It can really be anything. Like the content of it is maybe the most overwhelming part, but I do have something for you guys at the end, which is going to be some hooks, some calls to action, things that you can use today in your video content creation. Okay, music. Mentioned music. So music is a super important piece of your compilations too, to grab attention. These can be a lot of different things, right? If you're doing a walkthrough, if you're doing a neighborhood, if you're doing a talking video, you can add music to all of these things. They can add mood. They can also really add a punch to the video itself. So when you're looking for videos, if you think about, have you heard the video clips, they start really low and then all of a sudden the beat drops? So those are really great pieces of music to use because you can add a hook. And then when the beat drops, you can add that punch of value. And that can be just a short 5-second clip. Makes it super easy. And then there's also all of those trending audios. A lot of them will be like the lip syncing ones. Maybe you've seen those. You can repurpose those for your specific niche. Like what's being said on the audio doesn't necessarily have to be specifically related. You can add your own kind of captions to the video itself to make it relate to what it is you're trying to convey. It's just the feeling of the post that, or the feeling of the audio that you're connecting with mostly. Does that make sense? I know it's a weird concept, but it's fun. Fun. All right. Can you hear my audio when it plays?
You guys, let me just throw something at yes. Doesn't a scene in a movie seem so much more powerful when there's like dramatic background music playing?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the whole concept of social media and creating content is to storytell. And isn't a story just more effective when there's music in the background?
Like effect.
It
Yeah.
totally changes it.
It completely changes it. Watch your favorite, most emotional scene in a movie on mute and tell me if it's still as powerful, right?
Or like a horror scene.
Yeah.
It's normally freaky. It's not at all. It's super cheesy when you watch it on mute.
Yeah.
And the whole
Yeah.
concept of this too is if we're able to tap into people's emotions, that's the true impact of storytelling. So I love that. I think it's such a good example.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, I've got a couple of examples here. We're just going to talk about some of the different elements that are coming through and why I've chosen some of these examples for you. This first one, I just want you to watch. I'm not going to play the entire video because I think it gets the point across rather quickly, but she calls attention specifically to who she's talking to. And she's also got visual. So she's got a verbal hook and a visual hook when she gets up out of her chair. Yep. Let me just start over again.
I can't hear it.
Can't hear it?
No.
I can't hear it either.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. Let me see if I can.
One thing.
Can you hear it now?
The critters are coming to nest
Yeah,
in.
okay. Oop.
If you own a house, you gotta watch this. It's winter here in Los Angeles, and the weather's getting a little bit chilly, which means one thing. The critters are coming to nest in and around your house.
So a little bit of tricks there with creating a little bit of urgency and scarce critters. So do you guys see what I'm talking about though with the who am I talking to and a little bit of movement? Okay. Here's another one.
My client.
And this is, of course, this is Glenda Baker. She's dominating the social media scene and real estate scene right now. But this is a really great example of storytelling in a clip and using an example that she personally dealt with of a horror story, which I'm sure you probably have one or two of those to tell as well, and with some practical advice. So we're also going to take a look at this one.
My client wants to buy a house. She calls me and says, hey, you're not going to believe this. I think I want to buy 123 Banana Street. And I'm like, I know that house. I know the people who own it. I don't have it listed, but I know the people that own it. It was in my old neighborhood. They want us to waive the inspection. I'm like, no, we're not waiving the inspection. We do the inspection. Sit down and grasp tightly. Termites bury vertical. That's their first entry, is vertical. When they start going horizontal, you have a huge problem. The entire front wall of the garage, vertical and horizontal termite damage. Push it hard, it falls in. So let me tell you right now, if you're thinking about waiving the inspection, you may want to give that a second thought.
Practical advice with some anecdotal experience.
And
Seems
the
pretty-
music was
yeah.
a nice compliment in the background.
And it was. And the other thing that I would like to point out about this is that she utilized clips, and that's something that we haven't really touched on today. You don't have to get 60 seconds, a 60-second monologue out in one sitting. Okay. The great thing about video is that you can edit it like pretty simply even in the Instagram editor, or utilizing something like Descript, which we'll talk about a little bit in a little bit later. But so there's a couple of different tricks that you can use to get these clips done like that. You can stop and start your camera when you start to talk, and you can go sentence by sentence. In fact, that's even a great practice if you just let your camera run and just go sentence by sentence. And then you can just trim out all of the extra dead air. And that makes it really short, really snappy, and looks like you just blew through that content. Super simple, and you're a great communicator. Cool. This is another example of content. And this one is just like a 3 to 5 second video. It's B-roll. It is short to the point. And this also just showcases that you don't always have to have all of the content in the video itself. Sometimes the content can just live in the caption, and that's totally fine. What this does is it grabs attention. It has a call to action, and it's really pretty simple. Something you could put together pretty easily.
We gon' spin and kill everybody, and we're telling now.
That's it.
Am I still in Vegas, Tara?
Yeah.
I just got back from Vegas yesterday, and I feel like I just walked into a Vegas club.
Just walked
Yeah.
back into it. Yeah. But then you can see like his lengthy caption that he has over here. And a couple of things that this style of video does is it keeps people on the video. And so it replays over and over, which will help with your watch time, with your video views, which all signals to Instagram or whatever platform you're on that this is a really great video, and it may show it to other people or more people than it normally would. Okay. And it also gives you a lot of content and SEO keywords that is searchable on the platforms with all of the content in the caption. All right, so now that we have attention from these awesome videos that we're creating, now how can you make these really stand out so that people want to keep coming back for more? So there's a couple of good rules of thumb that you can do with your videos. You can utilize a tool called Descript, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. So that is an AI video editor, or it's a video editor actually. It was originally for podcasting, but it makes it super simple. You can upload the video and then you can ask it to remove all of your ums, ahs, so's, I knows, you knows, you guys, likes, all of those kinds of things. You can also shorten word gaps. So anything that's over 2 seconds, you can shorten it down to 1. So it makes those really short, snappy videos. And all you have to do is upload the video, it transcribes it for you. And then when you want to edit out something that you didn't like you said, you just copy the text and delete it and it's gone. So super simple. Another couple of things you can do. So I would say always use subtitles, especially in your talking videos. If you have any kind of content that you want to get across, people tend to watch in silent mode unless you're on TikTok for some reason. Utilize you can use different tools for that. You can either use the in-app captions, or you can add them from whatever editing tool you're using. If you decide to use something like CapCut, which is a little bit more robust of an editing tool, but you can use the third-party apps to do captions. Another tip is to change positions. Like when you're doing different clips, if you start from one angle and then you move to the other, it just gives that illusion of movement. And so it keeps people interested. Anybody using any of these apps already? Yeah. Which one are you using, Kathy?
CapCut.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use
What
that one
features
too.
in there? You use that one too? Are you using all of the features in there? Have you tried any of the new AI stuff to create some of the videos?
No, I'm not a heavy user of it, but I have used it before a few
Okay.
times.
Awesome. Awesome. Yep.
I tried the AI voice thing and I was like, this is just too much. I just kept my stuff because it was like record and then it would replace my voice. And I'm like, no, or I could type in the text and then it would talk. And I'm like, this is just taking a lot of my time, but I haven't used it to create video.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's a little hard. Like you have to get used to like the way you have to prompt the different tools for it, but it's there in case you want to play with it. You can also use it to reframe where your eyes are. I don't know if you've tried that tool before. That's an interesting one. If you're looking off to the camera reading something, that you can fix the eyes so that they're,
No,
yeah,
that's
so they're
cool.
fixed on the
That's
camera.
weird.
It is a little weird. It comes across very intense.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
like using it to edit because I have the backdrop, so I can cut off the backdrop parts that I don't like.
yeah.
So
Yep. Yep. Yeah. It does a really good like background remover in there for sure. All right. So keeping attention, just a couple of quick reminders. Story sell. So utilize those storytelling skills, whether they be visual or verbal. Movements and transitions in your clips are going to be super helpful just to create movement and keep things snappy. Remember who you're talking to. So don't be afraid to say it out loud or make it very obvious who it is you're trying to reach with your videos, and be yourself. Use your personality, because you are the only one that is you. A couple of, again, good video tips. Just remember that keeps them on the page. So it is content that you want people to watch more of, keeps them from scrolling further. So it stops them in their tracks. And one thing we didn't really touch on is that it's duplicatable. Wow. Duplicative.
You can duplicate it.
Duplicatable.
Duplicatable. Thank you. So what I mean by that is that once you have a few under your belt, like I would challenge you all to spend 30 days and just try a bunch of different stuff without worrying about who's seeing it or like what you're creating, just to get it done. And then go back and look at your kind of analytics and your likes and your engagements and see which types of content really resonated with your audience. Which types of content did they really like? And or which type was easy for you to create over and over again? Which kind did you like doing? All of that will go into what you set up on your strategy going forward, because it is really important that you, number one, you understand what's working, you enjoy what's working, and you can continue like getting better at it. Okay. And again, just remember that your content should serve your intended audience. If you're using social platforms or whatever they may be, just use them for your audience and don't try and talk to everybody. Just try and give them value, because that's really what people will keep coming back to you for.
What's up, you sneaky banana?
This is just a silly video just to remind you that you can absolutely be yourself.
Want to buy a house? Because if you do, this is how you do it. 1, you need a credit score above 620. Number 2, need a job that pays you consistently for at least a year, or a job that pays you inconsistently for 2 years. Like me, if you survive on selling people houses randomly. The bank wants 2 years of that. Number 3 is the hourly, the salary, how much money you bringing. Because the crazy thing about banks is they won't loan you money unless you make money. Good rule of thumb, you want to make 3 times as much as your mortgage payment would be.
So it's a little silly. I'm sure he's got an audience though. All right.
That's his vibe though, you guys. And the level of comfort he has with the camera, that's what we should all strive for. Not that we need to act the way he acts. We can act how we act, whatever that is. And I would say, and we could even go a little above and beyond, you guys. We could even act a little more than we could, almost like you're over exaggerating your natural, authentic behavior. And why would we want to do that? Because we know that's what attracts us when we're scrolling through the news feed, is someone performing for us. Let's be honest. It's just our attention spans are so darn short. And that piece of content is competing against so much other stuff that if you don't grab me with something exciting and entertaining, I'm going to scroll right past it. And if people are scrolling past your super valuable content, then your content's not getting any eyeballs on it. You know what I mean? There's no visibility. So again, I would say have fun with it. Push the envelope. There's really no risk, you guys, right? You're not going to turn off your people, right?
Yeah.
You may upset other real estate agents who are basically projecting because they're not doing that. So, oh, I hate that because I know I should be doing that.
Totally. So here's just a little daily challenge for you all as you dive into Reels or continue on with your video journey. And that's just to make sure that you're engaging with others that you want to connect with. So this may be, maybe you're searching based on location tags in the various apps and connecting with people who might be your kind of ideal client. But leave comments. And I'm not just saying like a thumbs up or a like or a fire emoji. Actually leave 5 words on their posts. And those people will start to engage. They probably will look at your profile. If you're creating some content that's of interest to them, they might likely actually follow you. And that can create just some more momentum for you. Try and get 5 new connections, whether that be every day, whether that's people that you want to engage with or not. I didn't mean that. People who you want your ideal client or not. You never know like how like the chain of connections might go. And then send one thoughtful DM every day. And that can be a video. Maybe somebody's going through a hard time or somebody's having a happy birthday or an anniversary, anything like that. The video messages are more likely to get opened and responded to. All right, leveraging the attention now once we have it. So I talked a little bit about once you engage with others, once they come and check out your profile. I can't stress enough how important it is to optimize your profiles so that people know who you are, what you do, and where you do it. And also make sure you have a value add in there. If I was to come to your profile after you left a comment on one of my posts, what is it that I will get out of following you? Are you going to provide content about Gilbert or horses, or it could be anything, right? Just make sure that whatever it is you're consistently posting about, that's what is in your value statement. Okay. Utilize stories. Reels and videos are great to capture attention and get people into your world, but it's super important to then leverage those relationships and continue talking to them in stories. You can share your reels to your stories, but stories should really be different content than what you have in your feed for the most part. Think of this as more behind the scenes type video. Short little snippets. Maybe if you do share a reel or something that you created, you're giving a little bit more insight as to why you created that particular piece of content. Utilize polls and stickers. There's new features coming out all the time. I think there's a bunch that came out last week. One of them was like a reveal sticker, which is fun. You can hide a new listing and then they have to actually tap on it in order to see the contents in there. So everybody wants something they can't have or that's hidden. So it's a fun one to use. There's others. Also, the add yours function is super popular right now. So if you have, for example, maybe you just went on vacation I just went to the Dominican Republic. I'm going to put a picture of the Dominican Republic with a sticker that says add your picture from the Dominican Republic. And then what's nice about those is that when somebody goes to look at all of them, they'll see all of the different photos. So it's just more visibility. Maybe you have some things in common with some people you didn't know, which can spark conversation. Okay. Collaborate with other marketing professionals or other businesses in your area. Okay. You can reach 2 audiences at one time utilizing video. If you can, it's a great thing to do because especially local businesses, they love the publicity, the free publicity that you want to give them, and they're more likely to reach out to you, other businesses, when they see that you're posting that kind of content. We also mentioned, I mentioned video chats and DMs. That's pretty powerful. And then lastly, we've got lead generation, which you can start to use utilizing a tool called ManyChat, which is an interesting platform. It is free. Doesn't have as many functions as the paid version, but I'm sure you've seen a lot of these influencers going, if you want the details on my outfit, comment whatever code, and then they'll send it to you in your DMs. So the whole link in bio thing is pretty much seen its heyday. It takes too much time for somebody to go, oh, wait, I want to go get that information and then go to their link in bio and then try and find the information. We just don't have the attention spans for it. So now that quick call to action of comment 500 for homes under 500,000 will not only tell the algorithm that you like each other's content, but then it also creates an opportunity for you to have a discussion with that particular person and or capture their contact information. Okay. So it's a cool way to provide value quickly and bring people into your world and let them see your content more. These are different types of lead magnets you might want to use for something like that. So just a couple of examples. There's a list of homes in particular neighborhoods, horse properties, that kind of thing. You could also do a vendor list, relocation guide. If you're doing any kind of home seller seminars or anything like that, you could add a link to a webinar, that kind of thing. Anybody using these right now? Not yet? Yeah, they're pretty cool.
RPR has some good neighborhood info too, if you guys ever wanted to post something like that.
Oops, I went backwards. All right. And then during the transaction and like ongoing usage of some of your video content. So you can use it to introduce yourselves to cross agents or your team, or utilizing it in milestone emails throughout the transaction. This was actually a lender that I had an experience with not long ago. They sent me an introduction, which I absolutely loved. I was like, oh, this is actually really nice. Thank you for the intro. Let me go ahead and play this.
Hi, Tara. My name is Jeremy Yampolsky at Orion Mortgage. We're working the mortgage for 41648 West Corvallis Lane. I know we've spoken a little bit, but I wanted to send you a video to introduce myself because I find it a little bit more personable than a phone call or an email.
So just a nice introduction. And I'll be honest, like the ongoing communication, like that really set it up for success, because then I was like, oh, he's going to be like on top of all of this. So if you can set up that same expectation with your clients throughout the process, like really great. They're going to love it. And then the other thing is inspire your friends and your colleagues to utilize video. And then you can do all of these things together. I think when everybody is on the same page and utilizing these tools in a fun and empowering way, everybody wins. So yeah. Any questions so far? No? Okay.
No, this is good.
Okay. So once you have a lot of kind of video content, one of the best types of content or pieces of content that you could create would be like an about you. And this doesn't have to be like a full blown, production like through a media company. You can use your reels to create an about you. Okay. And once you do have one, pin it to your profiles. Let people know exactly who you are once they come to your pages. You can pin it to your business profile. You can make it your featured video on your YouTube playlists. Same with Instagram. LinkedIn just recently released a Reels feed or a short form video feed. So you can also repurpose your content there and or create content specifically for your LinkedIn pages. Your Google business profile. You can add these to your Google business profile as updates. You could even add a link to it in your email signature. So utilize the video and content that you create as many places as you can so that you get the most amount of reach and the most amount of engagement on those pieces of content. And obviously you can throw it into your website as well. If you need a tool to help you distribute content, a couple of notable ones, I do have them here. Metricool is really great. I like Metricool because it actually gives you analytics on all of your social profiles. So you can see like what your
Tara, what
engagement
do they
is.
do?
What?
So this first one, like, how do you set it up? What do they do for you?
So Metricool allows, it's like a publishing platform. So if you post it in one, like it's a planner essentially. So you can post from it specifically, or you can set it up so that when you post on one page or platform, it automatically posts it to another page or another platform. So it's like buffer.
Cool. That's super cool. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do the algorithms like that when you use a third party like that to?
So that's a great question. If you are primarily using something like TikTok or Instagram as your kind of main hub for your content, I would continue to post natively there and just use those platforms or the third-party platforms as the auxiliary. Yes, you want it in other places, but let's be honest, you really can't be. So you have to focus like where you want to really grow. I would post natively and then use that as the auxiliary for the auxiliary posts. Okay. Not so much. It doesn't matter as much on Google Business, I don't think, but I have seen a difference in the number of views when posting on, for example, YouTube versus natively versus using the third-party apps, as well as on Instagram. So just keep that in mind, but you can set it up so that when something's posted on Instagram, then it's just posted everywhere else. So there's buffer and later and repurpose IO. Those are all versions. They all have free versions. They're all a little bit different with what they include in their free version. So just find something that kind of works for you. Again, I just like Metricool because it has the analytics. Plus, the only one that you have to pay for is LinkedIn. And if you aren't posting on there consistently, then you're covered with the rest of them. So. All right. And then just a gentle reminder with all things like video is great. It gets you attention. It gets eyes on who you are, what it is you do, and where you do it. But all of these other pieces that you should do first, like this is the foundation of kind of a good, solid marketing plan, is making sure that your online presence is dialed in. And does it speak to your ability to do the transactions that you want to do. And make time for this for this kind of content creation, right? You're it's going to be really hard for you to do it on the fly. And so make sure that you're time blocking and you are protecting that time rigorously to make sure that you get some content out on a consistent basis, because the consistency is really going to be the most important piece. Like, you're going to go out there and start creating some reels, and they may not be fantastic to start out with, but as long as you're consistent, you're going to get better over time, and the platforms will recognize you and know who to serve your content to if you're consistent in what it is you're saying, when you're showing up, and what it is you're putting out there. Again, just being personalized and delivering with consistency on, not necessarily on time, but like roughly the same time every week. And then just making sure you do it. Keep a good mindset. Realize you're not going to be perfect when you first start out, and that's totally okay. Done is better than perfect. That's all you got to worry about. And then just to recap, any questions on the components or the pieces of a good piece of video? So we've got the hook, we've got a story, call to action. The story can also,
See,
what
I
message
just
are you
wanted to hop
sharing?
on for a sec and say,
Yeah.
there's no such thing as a perfect piece of content. It's not like you put out like a reel and you go, that thing's perfect. I'm done. I'm walking away from social media. I made the
Never.
perfect video. My work here is done. You guys, there's no such thing. You're constantly going to be tweaking, updating, change, just like we are with our lives, right?
Yeah.
We're always a work in progress. So is our content, you guys. And I think for a lot of us that maybe have been sporadic with creating content, I think now's the time to go, you know what? This is not about me. This is about a lifestyle I'm looking to create, a legacy I want to leave. Like, this is beyond you. This isn't social media. This is your business. This is your life. You know what I mean? And there's so much opportunity here that exists. I think a lot of us aren't taking advantage of. And frankly, this is a platform where your clients are spending their time and attention, and you have the opportunity to get in front of them on a consistent basis. So the same way that you would put a billboard in front of them if you could afford it, or an ad on TV if you could afford it. But this is a more transparent way. And frankly, you guys, if we can do this consistently, that's really the key word here, is consistently. Like, anything that you do consistently, you get better at, but also anything that you see consistently, you start to build familiarity with, you start to trust. And that's what this is all about, is allowing your people to just feel more familiar with who you are, because they're consistently seeing you day in and day out. And it almost doesn't even matter what you're talking about. Now it does, because I don't want to just devalue everything we just talked about, but like, the value really is in the consistency, which creates that connection that causes people to trust you and want to work with you and tell others about you.
Yep. No, so true. And I would also add on to that, don't expect or feel like you have to go on and post every day, even 3 times a week. You don't even need to do that. If you can show up consistently once a week with something to say, or something entertaining, something inspiring, like, that is enough. And from there, just give yourself room to grow. Like, once you master how to edit, how a good hook and what gets engagement and all of that, then you can add more in. But for starting off, just choose one platform, post one time a week, commit to that for 30 days, and see where you go from there.
Yeah. In order to see change, like, if you want things to change in your business, you want to make more money, do you want more time? In order to see that change realized, you have to make a change. And I would say too, you guys, equate this to, if you are physically trying to change your body through exercise, I think once a month is better than no times a month. Once a week is better than once a month. 2 times a week is better than once a week, right? With social media, there's no such thing as too much, but there's definitely such thing as not enough. You know what I mean? And I think for you, if you can just double what you're doing now, but try to do it on the same days. You know what I mean? Every single week, almost just like clockwork. If you're sporadic with a reel, maybe it's here and there. Sometimes it's a couple a month. Other times you'll go a couple months without one. Try doing one the first Monday of every month. And then try Monday and Thursday. And then try, but just that's your challenge to you. Because guess who's holding you accountable for this? Nobody. You know what I mean? Unless you guys want to become accountability partners, which I would highly encourage. Choose someone on this session today or at the brokerage that you make an accountability partner and go, all right, we're going to hold each other accountable and check in with each other to do the one reel a week. And we're going to talk about what we're going to do it on. We're going to cover our challenges and struggles. We're going to cover our issues with editing and learn how to use Descript together. But you guys, I would highly encourage you to, if you don't have an accountability piece in place and you have yet to do this and embrace this, then find a partner, find someone who are going to hold yourself accountable to you guys and make it happen.
It's more fun when you do it with others. I'm just saying.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And we're here to support you guys. Chris is here to support you. Tara's here. I am. Lisa, Mara, everybody. You guys are support each other. You're not competing against each other. You're just competing against your ability to show up. So appreciate you guys.
Thank you. You guys are awesome as always.
Thank you. And if you guys didn't grab like the hook guide, it's there on the screen. Otherwise, I can also just email it to you. Okay.
I got it.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys
Have a great week, y'all.